Hello, my name is Tim Jordan. In this video I'm going to explore how beanbags can be used in mindful movement practice. I have to thank Lee Burrows for introducing me to this really useful mindful movement practice. You can find details of her ideas around using beanbags in the very important book Safeguarding Mindfulness in Schools and Higher Education. The video will be in 4 parts. The first part will look at general ideas around how we can use beanbags and why we might use them. The second part will look at using beanbags while sitting. The third part, using beanbags for mindful movement while standing. And the final part will look at issues around beanbags such as the different types and also using them in infection control situations. Why might we want to use beanbags in mindful movement practice? Well, the first reason is that for many people, beanbags offer a familiar movement. Most of us have had times in life, particularly childhood, when moving an object from hand to hand is normal, familiar, something we do, and we might even associate it with fun, which is always a good thing. However, we have to remember that some people may be less comfortable with any form of movement. And that includes movement using objects. Another reason is that because of that familiarity, then people may feel less awkward in engaging in being mindful of that particular experience. Whereas something like yoga or tai chi, qigong, which may involve movements that feel very different to what we're familiar with, the issue with that is that we can be having to do a lot of internal management of feelings of awkwardness, embarrassment, maybe there's triggering of shame memories, of doing new things, and that can mean we're spending more time engaged in our internal self-management than we are of being mindful of our experience. And you could argue that we're being mindful of all that internal process, but often people can be flipped into how they're controlling their experience rather than being open to what's happening. So something that's familiar, that also is quite active, that we're moving more quickly, tends to hold people in more familiar, grounding elements of their physical experience. Another reason for using beanbags rather than other objects is they're quite safe and they're quite easy to work with. You're not going to drop them too often, although a bit of dropping is good, as we'll see. They also offer a lot of different sensations, so we can be hearing them, we can be seeing them. These are like these because they're in really bright colours. There's a lot of tactile sensation of the beans or plastic pellets inside, and there's lots of different things you can do with beanbags. So you can keep the whole thing quite fast, quite engaging, and it means the initial experience of bringing mindfulness into movement often can be overall quite a positive experience, leading people to want to do this again. Like any form of mindfulness practice, what we're doing is we're cultivating our capacity to bring our attention into what we're physically experiencing, and then catching the attention when something hooks our attention and takes it elsewhere, noticing and acknowledging what's hooked the attention and choosing to bring the attention back. So the only thing different between a moving form of mindfulness practice and a sitting, static form is that the physical sensations we're using for the anchor are ones associated with that movement, which can be the physical feeling of the movement, but also what else comes along for the ride, such as what we're seeing, hearing, feeling of air movement on the skin, things like that. So in our guidance, we'll still be encouraging people to acknowledge what's happening when the attention wanders off, and then how is it to bring the attention back. It's really important to emphasise safety. Many people have restrictions to their movement or have pain or discomfort when moving in a particular way. So it's important to start small and build practices so that people can have time to understand how a particular practice may trigger some of their own restrictions may interact with the issues that they're dealing with. So start slow, build, and have lots of repeated invitations just to go at your own pace. And when you introduce a new practice that's part of the overall sequence, then again, be cautious about that. If you're standing, also think about people's balance. So having a wall nearby or a chair to grab onto for people who are less steady when standing up or less confident with what's going to happen as they move their body, then that's really important too.